Hi everyone, how are you guys doing?
Hi.
It's good to see you today, or good to be seen by you today. All right. Do you know what addiction is? Are you addicted to anything? Does anyone you know have an addiction problem? Well, today we are looking at dealing with addiction, right? So we're going to be looking at what it is and, everything concerning addiction today. Now, the first question I asked Nahesha was, what is addiction? What is addiction? All right.
Thank you, please.
Since she had looked for me like she don't know what I'm going, let's get right into this because I think this is something that we all really need to take a look at because many a times, we hear about it, we have an idea what it is, but we just brush it aside because that's not for me. But really and truly, what a dictionary version of the meaning for addiction says is being physically and mentally dependent on a particular substance or activity.
Right.
Many a times when we think about addiction, we immediately think about drugs. And alcohol, right?
Substance abuse.
Substance and activity. So this is going to shed some light
So
on some of the
addicted
things.
to sex.
Yes, very much so. Some of the things that some of us are addicted to that we don't even realize that, it's an addiction. It also says that addiction is a mental disorder.
That
Yeah.
I didn't know.
True
I
on
mean,
that
know that
one.
when you say it, it's true, but I never
Mental.
thought about
That's what
it
I'm
before.
saying. A lot
Yeah.
of times we just brush it aside. We don't really pay attention to what
Yeah.
it really is. And that's why we're looking at it today. An addiction is currently recognized as any activity that a person thinks about and engages to the point the point that it negatively affects
Other
some area
areas,
of their
yeah.
life, right? No, I'm glad that you mentioned the fact that people can be addicted to sex. Because, yes, we know that substance abuse, like drugs, whatever various types of drugs and alcohol, is the most
Prominent,
known,
yeah.
right? But there are also some behavioral addictions.
Yeah.
And it includes sex.
You can be addicted to binge watching series. I am.
Like I said, addiction can be any little thing. And then most times I believe that it starts out as something innocent, something that you do for some kind of pleasure, one way or the other. For drugs, it's the high that
It's
it
just a
gives
feeling,
you.
yes.
Yeah, that nice feeling that you get.
Not like I know it.
Yeah, but
yeah.
you know that it's so it's the same way. You're watching the series and it's the feeling that it gives you. You like that feeling, and so you keep doing it, and that's how an addiction begins. When it becomes a problem, though, is when you can't help yourself but to do this particular thing. So if you find that that is happening, you need to check yourself.
Do you think though that you have like addiction that you can manage and addictions that you can't manage?
All right, so based on what
be
we're
addiction if you can manage it?
based on what we're looking at, we're gonna get to that point. But let me
Okay.
just list out the other things so that our viewers and ourselves we can realize some of the other things that we can be
Okay.
addicted to.
All right. Cool. Cool.
So I said behavioral addiction and I mentioned sex. There's also porn.
Yes. Yes.
And I separated the two because some people would probably put the two together.
Yeah.
But it's separate. Sex is the act of sex. You can be addicted to that. You just keep going,
just
and
want
you just
it.
can't
Yeah,
stop.
yeah.
And that can put you into real trouble.
Yeah.
You understand me? It can become harmful, whether to you or even to your partner. Because if you're gonna constantly be having sex, you might end up having sex and giving the man or the woman bun because you're not getting enough over
Enough,
here.
right.
So you go elsewhere.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
so it
yeah.
becomes harmful to your relationship. People are addicted to food. People are addicted to gambling, to work, workaholic.
I see one will reach to me right now, right after work.
Workaholics, right?
Yeah.
You have shopping. Some of us, we are addicted to shopping.
Yes.
All right, you say no more. There are some people who are addicted to exercise.
Yeah.
And you'd think that can be a bad thing, but it can be. If you
Yeah.
are addicted,
If you're pushing it, over pushing yourself, yeah.
it can be harmful. Some people are addicted to the internet,
Yep.
to social media.
I know someone
and stuff like
who
that.
is addicted to the
Yeah,
internet.
man, addicted to the internet,
Yeah.
to playing video games. You're addicted to that. And even this one, when I saw this one, when I was doing my research and I saw this one, I was like, this is interesting. It says spiritual obsession.
I want that.
All right. So it's basically talking about religiosity. There are some people who are
I get you.
addicted. So you know how we go to church and we worship God and many of us we associate ourselves with particular
Yeah.
denominations
Yeah,
and
I get
whatever.
you.
And everybody have their spiritual choice, and that is totally fine. But you can become so addicted that you lose sight of what is important and the reason why you're doing it, and just doing
for
it
the wrong
overly for
reason.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you know there's an addiction right
Yeah.
there. When I saw that, I was saying, that's an eye opener, and I think some people may be suffering from that and they don't know.
And this list is not exhausted.
I
There are so many more
there's so many
addictions,
other
right.
things that
Yeah.
you can be addicted to. You understand me? Now, you asked me a question earlier if addiction can, if you have an addiction that you think you can manage, if it's really an issue. Was that the question?
Yeah.
All
As in,
right.
let's say that I know that I am addicted to doing this thing, but you have times when I can stop myself. I literally manage that addiction. So let's say, all right, series, right? I love binge watch, but then you have a time when I just have to put it aside.
And this
get
is where
other-
I'm going to say to you, I don't, based on the definitions and the readings that I've done, I don't believe that is an addiction.
Okay.
Because right here, what I have is habit versus addiction.
Got you.
Right? So there are certain things that we practice, certain
Yeah.
things that we do routinely. And, you know, over time, it becomes a habit, something that you constantly do, just like getting up in the morning and brushing your teeth. You know, it's a habit. It's something that you do, and you do it for a good reason. You have a reason for doing it. And of course, you can stop doing it whenever you want to.
Do you know that there is a phrase that they use where habit is concerned, where they say that even if you drop the H, you still have a bit. If you drop the A, you still have bit. If you drop the B, you still have it.
Right.
So habits are really hard to break.
It is. It's hard to break, and that is why there is a comparison between habits and addiction.
Right.
What I have seen, though, is that our habits can be harmful, and it can also be harmless.
Yeah.
But when you have an addiction, it generally is something that is going to harm something about your life. Some area of your life is going to be affected negatively based
Or
on
it's
the
gonna,
definition.
I mean,
that
the
we
habit
read.
can be a good one, but then I guess it will force you to do something bad.
Yeah, and then that's what I'm saying. You can have a bad habit, and it's not that I'm saying that your habit is easy to break, because sometimes, you know, the habits can be difficult. But I think that the addiction is a superlative form of a habit then. It gone past something that you have control over. You don't just get up and be able to just stop doing this thing just like that. It's gone too far. You're going to need help to get rid of this habit that has gone to an addiction. In order to break yourself from doing this, you're going to have to really be determined, really work hard to stop doing this thing. It's not just something where you can say, all right, I'm not do this today and whatever. It's like, think about persons who drink and smoke. Smoking, for me, I have personal experience with that. Well, not personal, but family experience. I have family members who smoke. And I can tell you, before I was born, my mother told me the story of my dad. He would always say that once his child is born, that he would stop smoking.
Right.
I'm 30 something. And my dad has not stopped smoking. And
Addiction.
it's not because he hasn't tried to do so. You know, he has tried on more than one of occasions. But it is something that there is a lust, a craving, an unbearable desire for this thing that
You just have to
you
do
just
it.
have to do it.
Yeah.
It's so much so that some persons, if they don't get to smoke, they become irritable.
You know,
It
can I
changes their
tell you that
behavior.
like when I'll see a movie then with someone who is addicted to drugs or whatever it is, for some reason, even though a part of you wonders if you see that this is causing damage to your body, let's say an overdose, right? And the doctors caught it right on time. And they say you need to stop and whatever.
And you
And
almost
see
died.
where it's you know, it's a life and death situation. You're almost dead. You literally went to death's door.
Right.
And you are unable to stop. You know, I feel sorry for them people there.
And that's
Because
what I'm
now
saying.
I know that you really have no control.
No control, and that is why it's a mental disorder. Something
Yeah.
went wrong in your brain that needs to be rewired and fixed so that you can stop doing this thing. If you almost died, if you went to death's door and knocked and the door cracked open and you managed to make it out of that and you still go back and do the same something that brought you there, you can see that this is something that is not just normal.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
understand
that's
me? So
true.
you bench watching series is something that you can get up for a whole week or a whole month or whatever and say, all right, I'm not going to do this because I have something else to do. You
Yeah.
can put it aside, right? A person with an addiction can't just get up and do that just so. It's going to take a lot more than just your willpower to say, okay, because a lot of times people who are addicted in whatever way or to whatever thing, they do have times when they try to stop. And especially after having a near-death experience, they do try. They are willing and determined that, okay, yes, I'm going to stop this thing.
Yeah.
But between, withdrawal symptoms, temptations, and all of these things, it is just very difficult for them to stop.
Yeah.
It's hard. Mark you, it's not impossible, but it's not something that most of us can do.
Yeah,
Most
on
people
our
can
own,
do
yeah.
on their own.
Yeah.
You can't just get up and say,
Yeah.
I'm going to do this. Nope, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
All right, so I have 4 questions here, Nahesha. We have 4 questions here that can help you to identify whether your whatever it is, it's a checklist.
Okay.
Whether it's a habit or an addiction. If what I found out though, if your answer is if any of these questions fit you or your answer is yes to any of them, it means that you possibly have an addiction. Any of them, just
Well,
one.
me know me have addictions, so let's go.
All right, so you take number 1.
Is your behavior having a negative impact directly or indirectly on your life? No.
Right. So if it's having a negative impact, whether directly or indirectly, if your answer is yes, you have an addiction.
Yeah.
Do you repeatedly put yourself in risky situations?
Risky.
If your answer is yes, you have an addiction.
Risky is like
Yeah,
when the
so
tell us say you can when you're investing, you have high risk, low risk, risky.
Right.
I mean, I've done risky things where shopping is concerned. I mean, you buy 2 things and you go back and you're like, how much money left in the account? And you're like, yeah, man, $100 can't left. That's risky, but
well, as I said, it's left for you to go and evaluate.
risky is relative, guys. You have high risk, medium risk, low risk. It depends on what level of risk. Okay?
And I understand that because guess what? It's just so it's as I say, you have to evaluate the situation, evaluate
How
your
risky.
personal and see
Yeah.
what is happening.
So like a life and death situation, nah.
Right.
Nah.
And so you have to look at it because it's something that it can happen just like that. Start out innocently and before you know it, you're at this point where, okay, I'm addicted and I don't know how to stop.
Yeah.
Some people just spend off what them have, what them not have.
And say
run up
tomorrow
them
we'll
credit
figure it out.
card, do all kind of craziness.
Yeah.
Just because they have an addiction. You go and you like to shop because most women we do. We like to shop. And it's a habit or something that it's a fun fact, something that gives you pleasure, right? But if you find that you cannot stop, even when you're not no money, your debt a climb over your head and a weigh you down and whatever, and you can't stop, then you realize, okay, I have an addiction and I need to stop this. I need to figure out how I'm going to stop this.
Yeah.
thing. Right?
So the next question is, When you stop drinking or using for any length of time, do you experience withdrawal symptoms like anxiety or stress?
Right. So this
No.
one is directly talking about drinking
Yeah.
and smoking or whatever other
Yeah.
ways they use drugs.
So I
but
would
you can
use it.
apply to
I
other
mean, yeah, just take
situations.
out drinking and put in your
Yeah.
addiction.
Whatever it is
there.
your issue may be, if you find that you have some kind of withdrawal, and that's what I'm saying, people who, for example, if you were really trying to figure out if you have an addiction to shopping, there are withdrawal symptoms. It's not just people who use drugs and alcohol.
Yeah.
You understand me? There's it's like you feel anxiety.
Let me go back
and
on the side.
You're
Let me see.
stressed out
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you can't control yourself and
Yeah.
the way you feel. You just have to do this thing, and unless you do it, you can't feel good.
Yeah.
The next one says, have you taken steps to hide your behavior, or have you repeatedly but unsuccessfully tried to stop on your own? So if you have tried to stop doing this thing by yourself, and you have to say it now work, or you're hiding whatever it is that you're doing,
Purchase?
you probably need to really stop and evaluate it and realize, okay, I have a problem and I need to fix it. I can remember, Nahesha, there was a time when I realized, I don't think, maybe I didn't get to the point of addiction per se, but it was probably close enough, way too close. I don't know if I've told you this story already, but porn.
Porn? Nataki garden flame.
Exactly. I know, right? That's what I'm saying.
Nataki garden flame.
So me take my enough self, people. When I just got married, because I want to explore, other things and whatever, I started reading online about different stuff and whatever. And of course, when you start reading certain things, they start sending you, certain other things until we end up on the porn site, right? Looking at stuff. And it became an innocent thing that I would even, say to my husband, such and such and whatever. And I even mentioned to him, okay, let me go watch it and see whatever. Just out of curiosity and whatever. Till I found myself going on my own to the porn site, looking. Till I found myself in the back of my head, busy about my business, doing what I'm doing. And
It pop up.
It pop up in my head. I mean, I think about that. That's not in the forefront of my mind, but then it starts coming. And I'm like, this is not feeling good. I'm uncomfortable about this. I have a desire, a thought, a craving, whatever it is you want to call it, to go on the porn site on a regular basis. And I'm like, this not right, man. Something wrong with this. And then it took me a little bit of effort to just stop
push
doing
back,
this thing.
yeah.
So I know that, as I said, it can start out as an innocent little thing. It's something where you never really did intend for become anything, and then it does.
I'm not sure if I have an addiction, really. No,
That's what I'm
thinking
saying.
about it.
You have
I feel left
habits.
out.
You have
Killing.
habits. Trust me, it's not a good thing to
It's
have
not.
an addiction.
I know, yeah.
So, I mean, being left out of this is good.
It is good.
I mean, if you
Can
find
you
that you
have
can't quit
can you
something,
have an addiction to something good?
not based on the definition. You can have good habits.
Okay.
But addiction
Because
is
usually
something
the
that
addiction is risky.
Yeah, it's
Okay, it's
negatively
negative.
affecting your life one way or the other, whether directly or indirectly. So that is the problem. The addiction is not something good. So if a food, after a while, is either you're overeating and becoming
Or the food is
obese,
bad for you
or the
or
food is bad
whatever,
for you
yeah.
and causing issues to your health.
So the
one way or the
definition
other.
of addiction has to be something negative.
Negative. It's
Okay.
negatively affecting your life, and that is when it is an addiction. You can have habits that are good. You can also have habits that are bad. But when it is an addiction, it's something negative and hard for broke. It's hard
So
for
what about the people who probably know they have an addiction, but no, man, I can manage it. People always are like deny the fact that
Right.
Yeah.
So, all right. This brings us down into our solution phase. Because, when we come here, we always try. We are going to highlight some things and we try to put some things in that can help you. Mark you, we are no experts here.
Yeah.
We are reading up and looking into and presenting the facts based on what we have learned ourselves, right? What it says is that first, You have to admit that you have a problem. And that is one of the reasons why I'm even here highlighting this whole addiction thing. For persons who are viewers and people who have loved ones who are dealing with this problem, because it affects the whole family,
Yep.
especially certain kind of addictions, especially things like gambling and substance abuse, really affects your family members and friends. So first thing you have to do is you have to look at it, evaluate it based on what we're saying. Is it negatively affecting your life? Ask those 4 questions that we mentioned, you know, and admit that you have a problem, because if you don't know you have a problem, you can't fix it. You're not going to need to fix it because it's not a problem.
You don't have something to fix.
Exactly. You don't have nothing to fix because it's not a problem.
Yeah.
If you don't admit that it's a problem, you can't fix it.
Yeah.
Right.
Decide that you want and need to break the addiction.
Yup.
Right?
You have
Addiction affects the frontal cortex of your brain and
science.
alters your impulse control and judgment. Guys, me sound like a doctor.
to. Yeah, some science, as I say, we're going to big up the facts.
Yeah. So, I mean, decide. You have to tell yourself that, listen, I have to break this. You
Right.
have to tell yourself.
Yes, like me telling you, you have an addiction and me come tell us you need to stop this.
Yeah.
Nothing in a
No.
you, now work on it. And me, and my desire that for you. You understand me? If you don't decide that you want to do it, it's not going to
Yeah.
get done. It won't be done.
100% true.
Yup, because quitting is hard.
Yeah.
It is hard. And that is why you have to be determined in your mind. Understand that, listen, this is going to be something difficult for me to do. And I'm going to have to really push to make
We
it
spoke
work.
a little bit about it earlier when we said that somebody who basically nearly died, near
Yeah.
death experience,
Yep.
right? And you come back and I mean, you make the decision, no man, based on what happened a while ago,
Me
I
have to
have to go
stop.
stop. I have to go stop this because it's risky.
Yeah.
You understand? So
have
yeah,
to be
you have to be the one
determined.
to make the decision. The doctor can't be the one. I mean, them can tell you, them can advise you the best them can, but you have to be the one who say, know what, I have to
I
stop
have to
this.
stop
I have
this.
to stop.
Yep. All right. So the next thing, you have to prepare to quit. Preparation is important. Before you quit, think about what you will need to do in order to give up your addiction. This might include eliminating your triggers, the things that trigger the craving, the need,
Yeah,
whatever. You have to eliminate it from your environment and find social support. So this is you preparing. So you can't say, okay, I'm going to stop, I'm going to quit my addiction to shopping. And yet, every weekend your friend them gone to the mall.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Or every minute you gone on the shopping sites, gone look on things.
Yeah.
You can't do that. You have to take away the trigger, take away the temptation, move it out of your way and get some support. So have somebody there to say, every time you say, you know, someone want to go.
Yeah.
No. You
Yeah.
understand me?
Yeah.
Get some support. Provide yourself with support.
Yeah. And the other one is definitely for persons who do have drug addiction, and it's consider medications to treat the addiction, right? If you have an alcohol or drug addiction, there are medications that can help you quit safely and successfully. Talk to your doctor about these options when you are planning to quit.
Definitely. So you want to get some support because I said it's hard.
Yeah.
Consider your environment. Get rid of it links with the other. Get rid
Yeah.
of everything that might remind you of your addiction. Now sometimes that's very hard. Depending on what your addiction is, it's kind of hard to eliminate, things around you that remind you of it. Because I mean, if it's drugs or alcohol, I mean, different places that you go,
Everywhere
might
you go,
see
yeah.
things like that. So it's kind of difficult. But in your space that you have control over, you're gonna want to take out. You can't try break an alcohol addiction and have much in liquor in your cabinet.
The thing is too, when you say environment, you're talking about even the persons that you're hanging out with.
Yes.
Right? And so if your friends know that you have an addiction and, I'm not supposed to be drinking, I'm not supposed to be smoking or whatever, you can't be hanging out with friends who are about,
Who
let's
are
go
gonna
have
be
a drink.
and smoking
They have to be
around you.
considerate of your
Right.
addiction and know that, listen, we can't do this because of, if we're going to hang out for the weekend, we'll put away all our liquor just for the fact that
Because
Nataki
you're
cannot
trying to
drink.
break
You
it.
understand?
Yeah.
Drink some soda for the weekend or something.
or some
Your
water or
environment,
something. Yeah, you have to do that. You have to take a conscious effort because it's like putting yourself into the position to fail
Yeah.
when you do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other one is find distractions. Ooh, this one probably is a bit hard because, I mean, when the addiction was the thing that you used to take up most of
Your time.
your time,
It's what gives you pleasure.
what else are you going to do now to distract yourself? I mean, you can find so many things, because usually when you're trying to break an addiction, you know, you try to find alternative to the.
Yeah.
So if I'm not going to smoke,
You want to try make sure no else so you're going to get addicted.
right? So that's what I'm getting at. If you're not smoke, you're not drink. You get what I'm saying? So the
Yeah.
distraction has to be something totally different. So to be honest, we're not experts. We've never been addicted to the things that you're addicted to, if you are. So it's hard for us to tell you what
Exactly
you
what
can
to
do,
do. Yeah.
to distract yourself. But you have to find that thing that's, you know, all right, then this works for me.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever I feel the craving to go and smoke, when I go take a walk in my community, it kind of me not feel the urge there again for go
Yeah.
smoke. Or you have to find that thing that helps.
Yeah.
You
yeah.
have to find that thing.
True. All right. So the next thing we're saying is get support. This is definitely important. You cannot do this on your own.
It's real. Addiction
I
is
know
real.
sometimes, you know what, especially when it's something that you know, something like a gambling or at least I guess any one of them can be something that you're embarrassed about.
Yeah.
And so sometimes people try to keep it to themselves. But you might wanna, you know, find close friends or close family members that you know they're more important. They're more interested in
Your well-being.
your well-being
Yeah.
and you getting better than judging you
Yeah.
then and making you feel bad about whatever it is that you are addicted to. You want to get those people, talking to them, you know, and even so you might want to try to find other people who have experienced what you have gone through, because they can probably give you tips. Mark, you the same thing that worked for me may not work for you.
Yeah, mhm.
But persons can give you tips and ideas as to what you can do or what you shouldn't do,
Yeah.
so that you can break this addiction. So definitely
There's
you wanna get
another
support.
important thing too. Like when we're going to involve like friends and family, we have to understand that as the friends and the family, it gets frustrating, and
Yeah.
you tend to like get mad at the person if they're not learning, if they're not, you know, changing the way they should or avoiding the things that they should. I mean, I can't even put myself in that position to know that I'm trying to help you and you're still, you know, heading in the wrong direction. I mean, but you have to understand that, listen, we might be here talking about addiction and it seems so simple, but it's so deeper than just a surface problem. It's not. It's deeper. When someone has gone to the point where they have overdosed multiple times and they can't stop themselves, you know, so there's something wrong with
It's
that.
a real problem. It's a real issue.
It's a real issue. And you have persons too who are going through the withdrawal symptoms and syndromes that them start mad. Because no, what I'm used to, I can't do it again. And then, you know, the itching thing where them have on the fidgeting, and it's a real problem.
Yeah.
And so if,
empathy is important.
right. And if you can't empathize, you need to get someone like groups who can help, or hospitals or supportive groups. If you are not the one, I mean, as family, sometimes we just have to take our hands off. If we can't manage, get someone who can help.
Yeah, that's true. Because, you know, even as you mentioned that the addiction, as we said earlier, it affects not only the person, but it also affects their family members in so many different ways that we can think of. But at the same time, you know, what we have to also take into consideration, empathy is important, and awareness and consciousness is also important for everybody involved.
Yeah.
Because guess what? What I have seen, what I've read, what I've heard for some of those more serious situations like substance abuse, the person, the individual, is almost always what you would say a recovering alcoholic or whatever.
Always.
It's something that once you have crossed that bridge, you are always, so even after you have stopped doing this thing, there is a desire somewhere in the back of your mind for it same way. So if you get yourself in certain situations, you might relapse.
Yeah.
No matter
You can
how
have
long.
one drink
Yeah,
after
man.
10 years
No matter
and
how
go straight
long,
back.
and you
Yeah.
can relapse.
And that's how you know it's a mental issue.
Yes, and that's why we have to be aware. We have to empathize, and we have to try and help ourselves and other persons.
And
because
note
it's
that
difficult.
counseling is not just important for the person who is who has the addiction, but also for the family members.
Yes.
Everybody needs counseling in a
Yes.
situation like this.
And
so.
if you are, in a situation, a position where you can help somebody because of your own experience, it would be nice
Yeah.
if you can do that. Help somebody, give some advice, some counseling, whatever it is that you can. Because I know of some popular. The only name I know to describe it is AA.
Yeah.
Where they usually say support each other, and you have a big brother or a big sister that supports you whenever you're having a craving or a desire. You call on that person, and they talk you down or whatever like that.
They call it accountability partner, I think.
Yes, so
But for our citizens in Jamaica, we will link below somewhere that you can call or
because
reach
there
out
are
to
support groups.
If you need a support group.
Yeah, and you can, the world right now, what I realize, even support groups have to, because of COVID and so many other things that are happening in the world, support groups are happening even online. So even, sometimes if you're not going to go physically to the place, you can, seek out an online platform that you can be a part of to get the support that you need.
Definitely.
Yeah. So I think that's pretty much it, guys, for our addiction segment. I don't know, you want to share something share your own personal experience or share something that can help someone. If you know of any information that is, helpful, that you can place in the comments that somebody can read and assist them. Yeah, please do that. As usual, we always ask you to share these videos because, a lot of the things that we talk about are most of the things that we talk about are things that affect lives. It's real life situation. And so we ask you to share. We ask you to comment. We ask you to subscribe if you haven't already done so. If you're a new viewer, like, subscribe, share, and just continue to send in your comments. We're still asking for the comments because we want to have that feedback thing going, feeling like we're talking to the people out there. We know you're watching, but we want to hear from you. So please, press the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you can know whenever we post our videos. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you again next time. Please remember that Inside Us is also available in podcast form. So if you can't watch on YouTube, you can listen through any of the platform medias that are available out there. All right, guys. So thank you. See you again next time.
Bye.